Yesterday, we have started to explore the component of the Noble Eightfold Path, the fourth component. So initially we have right view, right intention, right speech. Yesterday, we covered the fourth one, right action. We have covered a few paragraphs defining abstaining from the taking of life, or simply abstaining from killing. Oops. We have covered a few paragraphs. We stop at this paragraph. We covered the intention portion of killing. The important part of this factor is the intention to kill. So the essential determinant transgression is the will, the volition to kill. And that raises the question, is there such thing such as unintentional killing? Then we have several examples. One is either a monk or an arahant who is blind, and then when he walks, he steps on an ant unknowingly. This is one example of unintentional killing. So in this case, we can say the monk did not transgress this precept. Today, we will continue with this paragraph. But before I continue, is there any question or comments? Okay, we will explore killing in a more detailed way according to the treatise and commentaries. While the Buddha's statement on non-injury is quite simple and straightforward, later commentaries give a detailed analysis of the principle. A treatise from Thailand written by an erudite Thai patriarch collates a mass of earlier material into an especially thorough treatment, which we shall briefly summarize here. The treatise points out that the taking of life may have varying degrees of moral weight, entailing different consequences. The three primary variables governing moral weight are the object, the motive, and the effort. With regard to the object, there is a difference in seriousness between killing a human being and killing an animal. The former being chemically heavier, since man has a more highly developed moral sense and greater spiritual potential than animals. Among human beings, the degree of chemic weight depends on the qualities of the person killed and his relation to the killer. Thus, killing a person of a superior spiritual qualities or a personal benefactor, such as parent or a teacher, is an especially grave act. Okay. This is an interesting paragraph worth to explore deeper, but first let's define a few difficult words. Firstly, this one, erudite or erudite.
Erudite.
It's actually erudite. Having or showing great knowledge or learning. So a Thai patriarch with a great knowledge. What is a patriarch? It has two definitions. Here is the male head of a family or tribe. Second is any of those biblical figures regarded as fathers of the human race, especially Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and their forefathers, or the sons of Jacob. This is more in the Christian context, but I think what is meant by Thai patriarch here is in the Buddhist context. So, an expert from a Thai. Let's also define treatise here. A written work dealing formally and systematically with a subject. Yeah. So an expert from Thai, he writes a very detailed text, commentaries, and it also collates a mass of earlier material into a very thorough, comprehensive treatment. What is covered in the treatment is that what are the three variables that determine how heavy is the transgression of killing. It covers firstly the object, secondly the motive, and third is the effort. So in this paragraph, we cover the object. If one kills a human being, it is far more serious than, let's say, some people, when they wipe the kitchen, there is an ant, and then they just kill an ant. Yeah, so seems like there is a difference between the moral weight between killing an ant or killing a human being like all of us. That's the first one. And the reason he's here, it says that humans have a more highly developed moral sense and greater spiritual potential. But even among human beings, the karmic consequences can also arise and differ. How so? If the person is have more superior spiritual qualities. The very extreme example, the very far end, is of course the Buddha himself. Devadatta tried to kill the Buddha, if you know the story. And then from what I can remember, Devadatta goes straight to hell before he even get to touch the Buddha. That is what I heard. So that is the most severe, the most strongest transgression of killing the Buddha. And below the Buddha, if you kill an Arahant, I would suppose it is also very karmically heavy. But in the context of worldly world, in our worldly situation, can you think of anyone, let's say, for example, perhaps the assassination of a president, but we are not sure what is the spiritual quality of the president. Perhaps it's someone like, if you murder someone like Gandhi, because Gandhi can also be regarded as a person with a great conduct. Perhaps that will be chemically heavy as well. Then second factor here, if it's your personal benefactor, such as a parent or a teacher, is also a grave act. So for the parents, if I recall correctly, if you kill your parents, it is for certain that you will not gain enlightenment in this very life. It is part of the 5 grave acts of killing. If you kill those 5 persons, I can't specifically recall what are the 5. Can anyone recall? It's like killing the Buddha, killing your parents, and then I can't recall the last 3. Yeah, maybe we can find out later. Yeah. So any comments or questions for this portion, this paragraph? Okay, then we can continue to the next paragraph. So Sister Lin Toy, would you like to read?
The motive for killing also influences moral weight. Acts of killing can be driven by greed, hatred, or delusion. Of the three, killing motivated by hatred is the most serious, and the weight increases to the degree that the killing is premeditated. The force of effort involved also contributes, the unwholesome karma being proportional to the force and the strength of the defilements.
Thanks, Lin Toy. This paragraph covers the motive. So sometimes some people can kill out of greed, but here, out of the three, out of greed, hatred, and delusion, killing motivated by hatred is usually the most serious, and the weight increases to the degree that the killing is premeditated. So what does it mean when the killing is premeditated? It is when someone has made an effort to plan out, maybe wait for the person to pass specific areas, specific roads, wait for the person to come out of the lift, and then put an, stab him when that person comes out, something like that. But what is the opposite of premeditated? It is what is usually called heat of the moment. So this is when two people argue or quarrel until it reaches an intensity of someone becomes so encompassed with hatred, and then violence erupts. Let's say argument between wife and husband. They quarrel, they yell, and they shout at each other until the hatred builds up to a certain level, until one side cannot take it anymore, and then just use violence to end the argument. And this might sound ridiculous at this moment, but you can see some of this sometimes in the news, in the papers. Moments like this, stabbing or killing in the heat of the moment. Yeah. So I haven't encountered any recent fresh examples of this one, but if you research, if you scroll deep enough, you might find just cases like this. And it's not just few cases, there are actually many cases. Yeah. And sometimes sadly it happens in Singapore as well. Even though we regard Singapore as a safe country, but this kind of thing is not about the security of the country, but it's about each individual's and family's disposition. So I think that is what is meant by this paragraph. Any comments or questions? Okay, if not, then the last paragraph is a little bit more lighter than the previous one. The positive counterpart. So, Lin Toy, would you like to nominate the person to read?
Sister Shumei, please.
Okay.
The positive counterpart to abstaining from taking life, as the Buddha indicates, is the development of kindness and compassion for other beings. The disciple not only avoids destroying life, he dwells with a heart full of sympathy, desiring the welfare of all beings. The commitment to non-injury and concern for the welfare of others represent the practical application of the second path factor, right intention, in the form of goodwill and harmlessness.
Thanks,
Abstaining, okay, sorry. Am I supposed to continue?
No, we can stop here because the next one is the other components.
Yeah.
Thanks, Romy. And so here it covers more about the positive side, the positive counterpart of killing. As the Buddha indicates, we goes back again to the development of loving kindness and compassion for other beings. So we not only avoid destroying life, but we dwell ourselves with a heart full of sympathy, desiring the welfare of all beings. The commitment to non-injury, to non-killing, and concern for the welfare of others represent the practical application of the second path factor, right intention, in the form of goodwill and harmlessness. So we can see how some factors influence and eliminate each other. So any comments so far? We have read 3 paragraphs, I believe. Yes. Any comments or question? Not just these 3 paragraphs, but the whole section of abstaining from killing, abstaining from taking of life. So if you can have a takeaway from today and yesterday, we would simply summarize in 2 words. Don't kill. Okay, if not, tomorrow we will cover the second part, abstaining from taking what is not given, or simply abstaining from stealing. But today, if there's no further comments and questions, we can wrap it up here. Then let's do a dedication. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了。普愿罪障悉消除，实是常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。Till we meet again, may we be guided by the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a loving kindness and compassion day ahead.
Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. See you guys again. Bye-bye.